Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Juhratul Yasmin. My student number 21 11 20 40 22. In this video, I want to tell you silent letter in English. Yep, in English, some letters we not pronounce it, but in another word we still pronounce the letter. So we have simple rules to determine the letters we not pronounce it. The first letter is letter A. Letter A we not pronounce it when the word ends with ALLY. For example, romantically, basically, logically, musically. Yep, A before LLY we not pronounce the letter. The next letter is letter B. We not pronounce the letter B when it follows letter M. For example, like climb, bomb, dumb, plumber. Yep, we not pronounce the letter B, right? Because before B we have letter M. For letter B we have one rules again. The letter B often silent when it before the consonant T. For example, subtle, that, and dot. Yep, we not pronounce the letter B when after letter B we have letter T. Letter is letter C. So in letter C we not pronounce it when the letter C comes after the letter S. For example, like scissors, scene, scenario. Yep. Can you hear it? The letter C, I'm not pronounce it because after letter C we have letter S. Move to the next letter. The next letter is letter D. In letter D, we still not pronounce it too. Like in the word Wednesday, we not pronounce D in wet. In the word wet, we not pronounce the letter. We pronounce Wednesday, not Wednesday. The next word is handsome. We not pronounce handsome, but handsome. And sandwich. And the letter D can very quiet when the letter D in front of a letter G. For example, like H, E, D, G, E. We not pronounce H. We not pronounce G, but we pronounce H. And the next example, like knowledge, bridge. Okay, the next letter is letter E. So the letter E can be silent when letter E at the end of the word. For example, like taste, bake, clue, cake. Yep, we not pronounce the letter E, right? And the next rule for letter E. Letter E can also be silent at the end of the word when word past tense regular verbs and with ed. So we not pronounce it, but it's not always. Sometimes we still pronounce A in the word. For example, like wanted. We still pronounce it. But a lot of words will not pronounce it. For example, like looked, played, wrapped. Yep, we not pronounce letter E, right? Okay, the next letter is letter G. So a letter G can be silent too when the letter comes before N. For example, like sign, campaign, design, foreign. Yep, we not pronounce the letter G, right? And the next rule for letter G, we not pronounce letter G when G comes with H. We not pronounce GH when it comes after a vowel sound. For example, like daughter, bright, and high, like. Yep, we know letter G and H comes after vowel sound, so we not pronounce letter G and letter H. Let's move to the next letter. The next letter is letter H. So in the letter H, often silent when it's following letter W. For example, like what, when, who, what, when, why. In the word, we not pronounce the letter H, right? But for who, we still pronounce the letter H. The next rules for letter H is letter H can be silent when the letter start of a word. For example, like our, honest. Yep, we not pronounce H when H in the first word. The next rule is letter H not pronounce it when it follows of CGR letters. For example, like choir, we not pronounce the letter H, and ghost, we not pronounce H, ghost, like that. And rhythm, not rhythm but rhythm. Next letter is letter I. So in letter I, always pronounce it except in the word business. In the word business, we not pronounce the letter I. Okay, let's move to the next letter. The next letter is letter K. In letter K, we not pronounce it when it comes before N word. For example, like knife, no, knee, knock. We not pronounce the letter K, right? The next letter is letter L. So letter L, we not pronounce it when letter L comes after consonant letter. For example, like could, should. After L, we have D letters, so we not pronounce the letter L. Another example, like talk, walk, we not pronounce the letter L because after letter L we have K letter. So let's move to the next letter. The next letter is letter N. Letter N actually silent when it next to letter M. For example, like dam, autumn, hymn, column. Yep, we not pronounce the letter N because before the letter N we have letter M. The next letter is letter P. So the letter P can also be silent in words. For example, like recipe, psychology, psycho. Letter P can also be silent when it's next to H, and letter P and H can mean often F sound. For example, in the word telephone, we not pronounce telephone, but we pronounce telephone. Another example, like paragraph, we not pronounce paragraph, but we pronounce paragraph, letter P and H, we change to F sound. The next letter is letter R. So letter R not silent in American English, but it can be silent in British English. For example, like butter. In British English, we not pronounce the R letters. We pronounce butter, not butter. Water, not water. Yep, but in American English, we still pronounce it. So, the next letter is letter S. Letter S can be silent in the word like island, isle. We not pronounce letter S, but island. The next letter is letter T. Letter T can also be silent in some words like listen, castle, ballet, seven, gourmet, asthma, Christmas, and whistle. Yep, we not pronounce the letter T in this word. The next letter is letter U. Letter U can also be silent too in a word like guitar, guilty, tongue, guard, gas. Yep, we not pronounce the letter U in the word, right? So the last letter is letter W. Letter W, we not pronounce it when it comes before R letter. For example, like wrong, right, road. We not pronounce the letter W because after letter W we have letter R, and letter W also not pronounce it when in these common words. For example, like who, whoever, to, hall, answer. We not pronounce answer, but we pronounce answer. The letter W, we not pronounce it. Yep, I think that's all I can explain about silent letters. I'm sorry for the mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.